Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Earlier today on the Alex Jones Show, we had Kirk Wiebe. He's an NSA whistleblower. He worked with Mr. Binney, Mr. Drake, all those guys. And he was telling us all these things that, according to Senator Marco Rubio, never happened. Mr. Rubio wants you to believe that there's nobody monitoring your phone calls or your internet conversation, can check the things on your phone. Mr. Wiebe said this is the exact opposite of reality. Yes, we know they can track your phone calls, not only track them, who you talk to on what date, we all know that, but also have your conversations recorded. Case in point, the Tsarnaev brothers, Boston bombers. Now, regardless of what you think about that, the official story or whatever, they were recording the conversations of the Tsarnaevs before they were listed as suspects, which is bulk data collection. If they can go back and listen to their phone conversations before they were listed as suspects, you think they can't go back and listen to yours as well? But this is what they want you to believe. This is the big smokescreen that they're trying to sell you. And Mr. Wiebe has such good things to talk about Mr. Binney. We're going to let him intro this piece and then go to a piece that we shot with Mr. Binney when he visited us in studio just a few months ago, telling us how this is all going down and has been going on for a very long time. Here's a look at that report.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kirk Wiebe joins us after spending 4 years that included tours of duty in Turkey and Japan with the intelligence arm of the United States Air Force. During 63 to 67, Kirk attended Indiana University, receiving master's degrees in Russian language. In 74, the year I was born, Kirk then headed east to work for the National Security Agency, retiring in October 2001, same time that Binney and Drake and others left, and then, of course, got SWAT teamed, and they tried to set him up. Now we have the USA Freedom Act signed, and they're claiming it's a reform. From what I've seen and what you just heard David Knight break down, it's actually just a shell game. Kirk Wiebe, thank you so much for joining us today.
Alex Jones, it's a distinct honor to be with you.
Well, it's great to have you, sir. I could ask a lot of questions here, but why don't you start at the beginning and just recap what you've witnessed being inside the NSA, what's happened since, and then I'd like to get your take on the USA Freedom Act.
What's happened in a nutshell, Alex, is the very thing that President Eisenhower, on the night of January 17th, 1961, warned all of us about. And that is the, undue influence of the military-industrial complex on the ability of this government to function the way the founders intended it to, unencumbered by outside influences other than those expressly set up to deliver the voice of the people. So we have people willing to sacrifice the security of the nation for money. It's really corruption that is the real elephant in the room in the background here behind all of this. I fear we're headed down that path of last resort, where if you look to how we're going to deal with this, we're going to have to march on Washington. And I don't know if you're going to pick up a pitchfork, a baseball bat, or what to do it, but we've got to start making our voices heard. We've got to get their attention. You know, I would probably give my life for the opportunity for Bill Binney to be invited to Congress. And why wouldn't they? The guy's a genius. We know how to do this job called intelligence in big data. Catch bad guys, protect privacy at the same time without giving up anything. And they won't even talk to him. They won't even invite him in, not even a closed
And he's
session.
the guy that invented most of the systems that they're getting rich off of.
Exactly. And he didn't invent them for this purpose. We built the protections in. And my God.
I know it's all classified, but basically it gets into algorithms and all the rest of it where you can really zone in on the algorithm of the real bad guys. But when you add all the data, it just screws it up.
The whole point is that under a surveillance state, you have very few liberties. If they don't want you to do certain things, then they have ways and means of getting to you, like they did with us or other people. They would find things to use against you, to leverage you or influence you to do what they want you to do. You know, if you're nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Well, that's a great quote from Joseph Goebbels, first of all. And secondly, it's totally irrelevant what you think. What you think is totally irrelevant. It means absolutely nothing. The government only considers its view of you, and if you're doing something they don't like, they will come after you, no matter what you think of it.
Does the NSA routinely intercept American citizens' emails?
No.
Does the NSA intercept Americans' cell phone conversations?
No.
Google searches?
No.
Text messages?
No.
Amazon.com orders?
No.
Bank records?
No.
I thank you, and just for you, Director Clapper, again on the surveillance front, and I hope we can do this in just a yes or no answer, because I know Senator Feinstein wants to move on. Does the NSA collect any type of data at all on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans?
No, sir.
It does not.
Not wittingly. There are cases where they could inadvertently, perhaps, collect, but not wittingly.
But to conduct that kind of collection in the United States, it would have to go through a court order, and the court would have to authorize it. We are not authorized to do it, nor do we do it.
Bill Binney, a legendary NSA mathematician, led development of a revolutionary computer system to collect, isolate, and connect important information, like phone calls and financial transactions. Its code name was ThinThread.
My name is Bill Binney. I worked for NSA in the military and as a civilian for a little over 36 years. And I designed a lot of the logic and architecture that they're using to spy on everybody in the world. And when I started doing this and using it against US citizens, I became a whistleblower. I had other people who were with me as a part of that whistleblowing. There were 4 other people, including Diane Rourke from the House Intelligence Committee, and Tom Drake, Kirk, Wiebe, and Ed Loomis, who were also NSA employees. So we were all part of that, and we tried to influence the government internally, and they attacked us for it, and tried to put us in jail, fabricated evidence. We caught them at it, so they failed.
The FBI raided the homes of all the people you've met in this story who filed that confidential complaint with the Defense Department.
They came busting in. I was in the shower at the time, and one of them came running up and was pointed a gun at my eyeballs and pulled me out of the shower. So
He drew a gun on you?
yeah, he had it pointed at my head, yeah.
Talk about what a hero and how much courage you've got. I mean, you know how serious people are in this government, what they do worldwide, how corrupt it's gotten at that point. You had the will to march into Congress and to tell them what was going on. The first guy, I mean, that's 10 times bigger than Snowden internally. And to really start this whole internal debate and this avalanche of understanding now, I mean, you were really one of the first people to ring the bell to warn folks that the country as we knew it was being dismantled.
I went to the terrorist analyst shop, which we had running there for quite some time, and I said, I asked them, in all the work you're doing to analyze the terrorist problem around the world, which sites are the ones that give you information that you find valuable? And so they gave me a list of 18 sites, and so I took those 18 sites and said, okay, these are the deployment targets for our process in January of 2001. And it was, we estimated the cost to be about $9.5 million. That's all. Basically, it was working like a year and a half before 9/11 occurred, almost 2 years before 9/11. And if they'd have deployed it, we would have, in my view, there would have been no way we wouldn't have stopped 9/11. Because all the data, Tom Drake took the program after they killed it because it didn't cost enough money. So that meant that they had to create another program, which they called Trailblazer. There was, the initial cut at that was $4 billion. And after that, it only grew in terms of money. They kept getting more and more. So the whole point was that they had a whole host of contractors that wanted to feed on all that money. And if you took the program we did and deployed it, it would already solve the problem. So the point is that you can't go to Congress asking for money for a problem you've already solved. So they had to kill the solution to say we have a problem so they could justify getting the money. And that's exactly what they did. They know exactly what they're doing, and the reason you can tell that they know is because they're keeping it all secret. If they weren't really trying hard to keep it secret, then you might think that they were delusional and they didn't understand what they were doing. But when they know that they're doing something wrong, they have to keep it secret. Otherwise, they feel they'll be held accountable for what they do. Why else would they keep all these things secret, do things in secret with a secret court, keeping their interpretations secret, and making secret interpretations and rules for a constitution in secret, in hiding it away from most of Congress and certainly all of the public? So if you do that, you're hiding something, and you know you're doing that. I put it down to 3 factors: power, money, and control. That is, if you can have an uninformed electorate and an uninformed Congress, you can manipulate them and control them. And especially if you're pulling in a lot of data about them, you can do that and use it against them to get them, to leverage them to do what you want them to do.
Late last night, a British newspaper dropped a bombshell that the U.S. government has been collecting millions of Americans' phone records without them knowing about it.
A lot of people are learning that the scope of these surveillance programs is immense.
The government is monitoring private phone calls, your children and my children's private phone calls, and tracking who their associates are.
Right now, the U.S. government knows who he is calling, where she is calling from, and how long they are talking.
When it comes to telephone calls, nobody is listening to your telephone calls.
The NSA is trying to create a database to get ahead of what I think is a real growing threat. Homegrown terrorist cells already here.
It's to ferret this out before it happens. It's called protecting America.
When it comes to keeping us safe in the war on terror, I think the President Obama's program, is the right one, and it's a good one.
His name is Edward Snowden. He's an American former CIA employee and computer technician. Today he came out as the leaker of classified NSA documents.
You don't have to have done anything wrong. You simply have to eventually fall under suspicion from somebody, even by a wrong call. And then they can use the system to go back in time and scrutinize every decision you've ever made.
Are you confident that you know everything that's going on within that agency and that you can say to the American people, it's all done the right way?
Yes.
I made the statement about that the greatest threat to our constitutional form of government since the Civil War is what's happening now in terms of spying in the United States. And that's the domestic spying program, Stellar Wind, that they started in secret and have been running in secret. So they're violating the constitutional rights of everyone. First Amendment rights are violated because you have the right under the First Amendment to have a free association. It doesn't say you have the right to free association as long as the government knows about it. That's a direct violation of that one. The Fourth Amendment is clearly violated when they collect all the content data, or they digitally record your phone calls. And violate all of your privacy under your affairs. That's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And then using the content of your emails against you in a court of law in secret, again, under the law enforcement use of the NSA data, that's a violation of your Fifth Amendment rights not to testify against yourself. And then when they lie in courts and don't tell you that, give you the right to challenge discovery of the information they really used to arrest you, that's a violation of due process under the Sixth Amendment. So, I mean, they're just scrapping the entire constitutional form of government. This is the greatest threat to our democracy and republic and constitutional form of government since the Civil War. See, unless we stop the industrial accumulation of information on people, we're heading to a state of society where people will see the surveillance, just the fact that people are being surveilled inhibits their ability or feeling that they have the opportunity to do new and creative and innovative things. So that kind of reduces their risk-taking, basically, which in turn means you get less and less creativity and innovation and more stagnation of civilization. That's what happened in the Soviet Union, that's what happened in East Germany and the communist bloc. They stagnated because people were being so surveilled that they were afraid to do anything. It made people afraid to take a risk. And that's really the point of capitalism. That's why it's been so successful, because it was advocating people taking risks.
Americans aren't supposed to sit back and let things happen and let
let government do what it does. We're supposed to be out there challenging. We have to be participating in our democracy and republic. We cannot sit by and let these things happen and be quiet. If we do, we're going to get this totalitarian state that we're sliding toward right now.
Well, that's it for our show tonight. And if you like these reports and you want to see more of them, support us. Go to the Infowars shop and pick up our new Save America t-shirt. And yes, the flag is upside down. That's not being disrespectful to our troops, to the people in our military, or even the people in our government. Flying the flag upside down is a symbol of distress. And if you don't think NSA spying is a symbol of distress, if you don't think having these rampant police shootings is a symbol of distress, and I don't know exactly what to tell you, but you can support us. And it's a very cool shirt. It even has the tag there at the bottom, so you can explain to people what exactly this upside down flag means. And also you can support us by going to prisonplanet.tv, where you can get a free trial. You can see the nightly news, the special reports, the rants, all right there on prisonplanet.tv. And finally, the Alex Jones channel on YouTube. We have over 1 million subscribers. You can join them. You can see all the great videos, just like the one we posted of Mr. Binney, and you can show that to all your friends and family. I'm Jakari Jackson from the Infowars Command Center, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.
Infowars Life and InfowarsLife.com is extremely excited to announce our latest release, Winter Sun, a revolutionary type of vitamin D3. Winter Sun is a premium quality vitamin D3 nutritional supplement. It is produced by extracting oil from healthy, nutrient-dense plants known as lichens. Every batch is analyzed for purity and D3 content. It's completely free of toxins and allergens. Simply put, if you want the best at an extremely low price, this is it. Winter Sun is the result of our pursuit of the best source of vitamin D3. The research and development took over 2 years, but the result, as verified by independent laboratories, is the best vegan vitamin D3 product in the world. Read the facts at InfowarsLife.com about Winter Sun Vitamin D3. Not only does vitamin D3 promote a healthy mood, but vitamin D supports our memory and brain function, something the globalists are targeting. Visit Infowars.com today or call 888-253-3139.
You are watching the Infowars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfowarsNews.com. And your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.